Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our first look at the new Tier 5 premium Japanese battleship, the Hyuga. Or the Hyuga. You can let me know. Or as I like to call it, the Hyuga. Alright. Anyway. So, with that being said, let's get straight into our commander. We are running Takeo Takagi. We have Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Reaching Out XXL with Will to Rebuild as our perks. We are running Palo de Rebel and Azure Lane Scharnhorst. If you do not have Scharnhorst, you can pop in not Azure Lane, but Cunningham. If you still want a little bit of a boost to your dispersion. Okay? Now, for the actual build, we are running Aiming Systems Mod 1 and Steering Gears Mod 2. Okay. We have 3 heals, 3 spotter planes, and 2 main battery reload boosters. Yes, you're right. That is a main battery reload booster at Tier 5 for a battleship. And it is as disgusting as you would expect. So, we are also running the Alpha Tester flag, which again does nothing, but it is purely cosmetic, and we have the camo that comes with the ship. Okay. Survivability, 60,700 hit points with a 34% torpedo damage reduction. Artillery, you get 12 356mm 41st year type, 18 kilometer firing range with a 27.4 second reload time with this build. 180-degree turn time is 32.7 seconds. HE shell maximum damage is 5,700 with a 25% chance to set fires. AP shell maximum damage is 11,220. Secondary armament, you get 127mm Type 89 Mod 3s. You get 8 of those, reaching out to 4.2 kilometers and reloading in 6 seconds. They fire HE shells with a maximum damage of 2,100 and an 8% chance to set fires. Then you have the 140mm third year types that you have 16 of, reaching out to 4.2 kilometers, reloading in 8 seconds, with a maximum HE shell damage of 2,400 and a 10% chance to set fires. AA Defense, 25mm Type 96 Mod 1s, you get 20 of those doing 50 damage per second, reaching out to 3.1 kilometers. And a 127mm Type 89 Mod 3, you get 8 of those doing 40 damage per second, reaching out to 5 kilometers. Maneuverability, 22.8 knots. Not particularly fast. I didn't look up the stats, but I feel like this one is slower than the other Japanese battleships at this tier. It just feels slow anyway. It's 22.8 knots, still not too bad for the tier. It's just, it feels slower than the rest of them. But I'll have to check it out. Turning circle, 750 meters, pretty good. And a rudder shift time of just 12.8 seconds. That's with the steering gears mod, keep that in mind. Concealment, you get a 13.8 kilometer surface detection, an 11.6 kilometer detection by air. 2 is always guaranteed, and then a 12.5 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke. For armor, you have the dreaded 26mm bow, which means you get overmatched by everything 15 inches and above. At Tier 5, it's not so bad, but when you go up against Tier 6s, you definitely feel it. However, you do have a nice little buffer of the torpedo bulge. As you can see, it's 32mm, meaning nothing overmatches that until you get to the Yami. Okay? So, unless you're facing Yamis in your Tier 5 battleship, you're going to be okay. All you got to do is angle this thing and you'll be just fine. Just make sure you angle. If you're going up against a 15 or 16 inch battleship, make sure you give them, lift the skirt, show them a little leg, you know what I'm saying. Do the dreadnought shuffle, you will be fine. Okay? Let's get rid of all of this and take a look at the Citadel. Unusual for this type of ship, for the Japanese, it's got a really low citadel, and it's missing the hump at the back, or at least it's lower in the water so that the hump at the back isn't as bad. But that being said, it still can be a bit of a problem. It does not have turtleback arm. Well, I guess it technically does. It's not a particularly good turtleback. So keep that in mind. You will be blapped if you go broadside, period. But getting dev struck in this thing is not very likely unless you get torqued, obviously. So keep that in mind. It's a solid ship. Fuso always has been a good ship, but giving the Fuso a reload booster with a 12-gun remember, this thing has 12 guns. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dual turrets, 12-gun broadside, and you get 2 reload boosters for this thing. You time it right, those reload boosters are going to absolutely destroy anything that decides to go broadside. So keep that in mind. Guns aplenty. A high number of guns allows for a lot of damage from a single salvo. Long reach. Above average main battery range. Hit them before they can hit you. Compromising. Higher caliber AP shells may overpin the armor, but still arm depending on shell velocity. The Hyuga. An Ice class battleship. Or an East class. Is it an East class? I feel like ISE would be East. Anybody knows Japanese, let me know. We're going to call it East class. An East class battleship that was a further development of the Fuso class. Oh, okay, so it's not technically a Fuso. Interesting. With a different artillery arrangement. Significant reconstruction during the 1930s resulted in the battleship having better speed, stronger anti-torpedo protection, and more solid horizontal armor. She entered service in 1918. There were 2 of them in the series. All right, so let's take a look at her. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks like a Fuso to me. You know what I'm saying? And it actually feels like a Fuso when you're using it. It's definitely a solid ship. I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot of fun to run. Not the most consistent, but you don't expect consistency out of your Japanese battleships. So with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to have a double feature of this thing, mainly because I want to show you what can happen if people are stupid in front of this, and then I want to show you the kind of game that I've been having pretty regularly. So, this thing is absolutely disgusting. And it does feel slightly more consistent than the Fuso, even though I never personally had any issue with the Fuso. The Fuso was very, very good, if I remember correctly. I've never had an issue with the Fuso. It's got decent speed. It's maybe not the most armored ship in the world, but its speed, its maneuverability, and that broadside is nasty when utilized properly. And you know me, I like to be aggressive. So having a 12-gun broadside with 2 reload boosters to make people pay when you catch them because they're not making good moves, they're not paying attention, is absolutely insane. So, in this first match, I'm going to showcase the most ridiculous start of any match I have ever had at Tier 5. I know, that's a lot to live up to, right? That's a lot of hype. I've had a lot of great matches at Tier 5, and this is no exception. But this thing has been printing 120, 130k games all day long. I haven't had the one breakout game. Like, I've seen T-Bull have over 200k. This thing is possible of that. If your team is dumb enough to not be able to, like, do anything, and the enemy team is dumb enough to give you all the broadsides, the sky is the limit with this thing. And it's all going to come down to getting into positions and allowing the enemy to make stupid mistakes. We're going to showcase that coming up. I'm not joking. The first 4 salvos of this ship that I fire in this freaking game is off the charts. And it's against 2 battleships. So it's not even like I'm like one-shotting cruisers. I've got 2 decent battleships. One's a slightly lower tier. It's a Congo, I believe. And the other is a Tier 5 Bayern, which has 15-inch guns. But our concealment at 13.8 kilometers allows us to move around without being detected in this cruiser and battleship only game, which is huge. And that's where this thing really shines. When it's able to sneak around, God help anybody that this thing sneaks up on. Like, no joke. Now, I love the Queen Elizabeth for its overmatch and its accuracy and its consistency, its tankiness, all of the things at Tier 5 that I really enjoy about the Queen Elizabeth. Warspite, same thing. But I prefer the Queen over the Warspite just because it seems to do better for me than the Warspite. But they rule this tier. This thing just stepped in and said, hey, I know you say this rules the tier, but I'm going to give the Arizona, the Warspite, and the Queen Elizabeth a run for its money. Hello, Bayern. Hello, Nuremberg. Now, initially I was going to shoot the Nuremberg, but he's turning away, and this Bayern is too juicy to oh my god, the railguns. Pow! 25,977, well, 75 damage. That is 11 out of 12 shells hitting the target in the first salvo. Are you kidding me? And then we pull the trigger and wait for it. Boom! Another 20,000 damage, and that's 8 out of 12 shells hitting the target. Now, obviously, this is pretty close quarters. So you're not expecting to get these kind of results at longer ranges, but even in a Japanese battleship, I'm not expecting to get these kinds of results at this range. Like, I've had Japanese battleships spray the shells everywhere and miss the target at this range. But another broadside opportunity, and we absolutely punish them. Another 20,000 damage. We have 69,000 damage at 3 salvos in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. You can't make it up, folks. It's ridiculous. If people are dumb enough to not pay attention, you will remove them with haste, as this Bayern just found out. As we hit him in 3 salvos and removed him. 3 salvos, all it took to take that man out. And then the Congo's like, oh my god, this guy punished me. I'm going to have to do something here. So he starts pulling out from behind his rock just in time to get blapped again. Now, I was expecting him to come around and start firing his guns at me, and so I go bow in here. I don't need to get all my guns on target. He is a tier 4 battleship. I overmatch him. I am not scared of him. He's running away from me, and he's mainly broadside. So we take the shot, and that's more what you come to expect out of a Japanese battleship. At these ranges, 4 guns shot at him, only 1 hit. That's what you kind of expect. That troll accuracy will jump out at you at times. But more often than not, this thing has been on point, as demonstrated in the first 4 salvos. Now, obviously, we haven't really showcased what this thing is fully capable of, because we just had 2 broadside battleships, and the 2 cruisers behind us have kind of just gone, what the heck, man? Is that thing really this good? Well, it's this good as long as people are stupid. And while this isn't the, like, most ridiculously overpowered or broken ship I've ever played, it is very strong, especially when people make stupid mistakes. And at tier 5, you get a lot of people making a lot of stupid mistakes. Why? Because they're still learning the game. You know, it is what it is. Now, we have multiple Kirovs out here shooting at us, which is not preferable. We also have the Nuremberg that we let get away earlier, which is not preferable. And now we're going to showcase some of the weakness of this particular ship, and that is the accuracy just is not there to finish off these cruisers. And that is really unfortunate. And on top of that, we tend to overpin these guys rather than get citadels on the cruisers, which would remove them quickly. But it is what it is. You can't have it all, folks. And yeah, we're going to try to put ourselves in position to limit who can shoot us, which is huge. This is one thing that I've had to learn the hard way. When you put yourself in these overreaching positions like I do, like I am the most aggressive battleship player in the world, as we smash that man with 7 out of 12 shells, but leave him just enough to get away. And I didn't want to use my reload booster on that because I figure we might have some teammates coming over to help. Omaha gets a shot on us, and we are going to use this island. Now, obviously, we've got a fire burning. We don't want to compound this by getting multiple fires burning. We don't get our damage con back for a little while. We still get 1 full heal left, so we're okay. But again, limit who can shoot us. Let our teammates soak up a little bit of damage too. They have ships, they have HP, they can take some hits once in a while too. And this allows us to get our damage control back. Now you can see I am switching to the front gun so that I can see once this Omaha comes around the island, and I make sure that I have the shot. Now I accidentally fire the rear guns too here because I'm so used to firing a full salvo. So I actually screw myself over there and was unable to finish the Omaha in the first shot, which is real unfortunate. Usually Omaha guaranteed dev strikes for anything, let alone a tier 5 battleship. But he got lucky. We overpinned him. We knew torpedoes were likely en route. You got all these cruisers running around. There's going to be torpedoes. Nuremberg is angled towards us, and this is basically best case scenario. He does start to turn away, but again, like, you can't ask for a better shot than this. And we hit him for everything but leave him alive. 10 overpins. 10 overpins. Now, yeah, that shot was a little far forward. It didn't quite hit the center of his ship. Little far forward, but still a pretty nasty shot. And that leaves just this Queen Elizabeth, and this game is over. And I don't even think we get a shot here. We get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's about to die. We take the shot just in case. And yeah, we actually do get the kill. So we end up with 117,000 damage in this game, and you saw how quickly that damage can stack up. Like I said, we had 69,000 damage in 2.5 minutes. That's ridiculous. Now, this game is going to be a little bit more what you can expect out of this ship. And that is vulnerability from distance, which we're going to showcase. And then also, what happens when you get yourself into trouble and you have to find a will to rebuild buddy. And sometimes you have to chase will to rebuild buddies and hope that the enemy is bad. And that's what's going to happen in this one. We're going to push off to the right side. We're going to get ourselves into a good position. We're going to get into a nice fight. And then we're going to get ourselves overmatched by, you know, just too many people shooting at us. But yeah, this map I'm not particularly, like, aware of, or no, not aware, what's the word, familiar with. That's the word I was looking for. Not particularly familiar with Ring. I don't play a lot of lower tier stuff, so this map kind of catches me off guard when it pops up, because I just don't play it enough. Now, right off the bat, we have a Bayern spotted, so we're going to go ahead and try to take a shot at him. We have destroyers, multiple destroyers in this game, so we've got to pay attention to that, and we are in a position where this Bayern could potentially blap us. Remember, do have slight turtleback armor, but at this range, it's not going to matter, because he's going to get plunging fire, but he didn't end up citadeling us. He did just get a nice little salvo into us. We lost about 10k. We hit him for about 6. Not a good trade, but you know, that's just the start of our woes. You can see we're taking a lot of shells from across the map. Now, remember what we said about the Omaha in the last one? About how they're usually a death strike for pretty much anything that shoots them, whether it's a cruiser or whatever. If you're broadside in Omaha, you deserve what you get. And this guy is broadside in Omaha, and he does not see this coming. Wait for it. And he's gone. Full health to no health. In, you know, a few seconds. He had fun. And he just quit playing the American cruiser tech tree, probably. He's like, screw this! I'm going back into my Russians, or I'm going back into Germans. This is stupid. Trust me, the American line gets better. I actually like the Phoenix and the Omaha because I'm a glutton for punishment. The Pensacola as well, I like it as long as I don't get death struck. But, you know, people do tend to struggle going down that line because you don't have the safety net of torpedoes, and they are very squishy if you go broadside. But that being said, we have a T-22 spotted here, and we're going to go ahead and punch him right in the mouth. 7,800 damage. We just hit that man with 7 overpins from this close. That's what I'm talking about. The accuracy on this thing is not that bad. And that Ishmael back there in the back is actually punching us right in the mouth, and I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan. And we have the Bayern here too. We obviously dodged the torpedoes. It was pretty obvious they were coming, so easy to dodge those torpedoes. If you see a destroyer, you're probably getting torped. We take the shot into the smoke. We managed to finish him off. And then we have a couple of guns for the Ishmael, and I'm not going to lie, I was pretty much salivating at this point. Narrowly dodging the last of those torpedoes. But Ishmael gets another shot, and he absolutely punishes us again. Bayern out here is in a position where he's angled and getting all of his guns to bear, and he's scoring some good hits. And you can see I'm in trouble. I've already lost over half my hit points. We're only 3 minutes into this game. That's not preferable. And they managed to knock out 2 of my guns between the 2 of them. So that's not preferable either. And you can see I'm already starting to get that sinking feeling, if you know what I'm saying. So we're going to turn around. I see that I have a buddy back here that I could potentially get Will to Rebuild off of. And Will to Rebuild in this game is utterly broken. Anybody that says it's not broken is just lying. If you're a Battleship main and you abuse Will to Rebuild, shame on you. However, if you're a Battleship main and you need Will to Rebuild and you just happen to be in a position where you can potentially get it, it will save your life and make you darn near impossible to take out as long as you have a Will to Rebuild buddy. And especially at these tiers. At these tiers, you're recovering so much health that you're not likely to be killed if you're Will to Rebuilding. But that brings me to my next point. If somebody is Will to Rebuilding off of a cruiser in a battleship, kill the cruiser. and then you can kill the battleship. It's so much easier. Now here, I thought I was dead, I'm not gonna lie. But we get very, very fortunate. We managed to to get the shots out, not take any hits from the Bayern, and we are turning away from the Ishmael. Now remember what I said about this thing. It's got decent side armor, and you're going to see that at play here. And you can see I'm starting to freak out a little bit. I'm like, guys, I need some freaking support. I've got like a maxed out commander here, so you can see my will to rebuild range is massive compared to what it normally would be. And we're trying to get into range of our buddy here. We get detected, which is not preferable, by the Ishmael, and we knew the shells were coming. Fortunately, I don't know what he did with that shell. I don't know if those all fell short or if he just whiffed it that hard. But you can see as soon as I get in range of the will to rebuild, my entire attitude changes. No longer am I running away. No longer am I going to try to take this fight and kite. I'm going to push the initiative. Once I have will to rebuild going, and I know he kind of sailed out of it at the moment, but I'm turning in towards it, so I'll get right back in there. Plus, we have a battleship coming over. But we take a shot at the Ishmael here, and we don't get much out of it. But we do have a high caliber, a whopping 79,000 damage high caliber, which goes to show just how much fun it is when you have half a lobby full of destroyers. I know. But that kind of just reiterates just how good this game was for us at the end when you see the total damage output, when you think half the lobby was destroyers. Like, there was not a whole lot of damage here. A third of the enemy's total HP at the beginning of the match is 79,000 damage, roughly. That's what a high caliber is. You shoot 4 ships and you get a third of the enemy's total HP, and that gives you a high caliber, right? And you can see Bayern, I don't know what he was thinking here, but he was wrong. He backs out full broadside in front of me, and he pays the price here. And then we immediately switch targets to the broadside Ishmael to give him the rear guns, and we get only a single citadel. That should have been a death strike. Like, let's be real. That broadside this close in a freaking Russian battleship, that should have been a kill. Now you can see I have beached, a little bit of a tactical beaching, and we are backing out in front of him, but of course I'm not just going to stay there, right? I think I fire the front guns here, or maybe I hold until I get all my guns, and then he starts to turn. But yeah, we fire the guns into the superstructure, hoping to kill him. He doesn't have a lot of health. It's very difficult to get a lot of damage off of Russian superstructures just because there isn't much superstructure there. But we get 5 full penetrations, knock out one of his guns, and we leave him just enough to get away. Now here, again, I thought maybe I'm dead here, but I do manage to get angled just enough that he gets a couple of penetrations on me, and that's it. And at this point, there's nothing he can do. He's done. He's done. At this point, I've got him dead to rights. He's over-angled. We're just putting it through. We don't want to aim at the belt. We want to aim up a little bit, so you see me aiming a little higher on the ship. But we get our 4th kill, and can we pull our Kraken? 127,000 damage done in this lobby against literally 4 destroyers and a couple of battleships. We got very fortunate with the Omaha right off the bat, going broadside at range, meaning we didn't overpin them. And then, of course, the 2 battleships put up a heck of a fight, but in the end, we were able to pull it out. And then we get a shot here, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little salty that I wasn't able to finish that guy off. But Tennessee manages to take him down, and that ends our fantastic game. And like I said, this is a great ship. Do I recommend buying it? I mean, if you're a battleship main, go for it. It's a fun ship. You won't regret it. I would buy the 10,000 credit version rather than the 20,000 credit version. Why double your price for nothing? You can always make your own permanent camo. So let me know what you guys think of the Hyuga, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.